of Dreamer. You made it. It's Saturday night, the Thanksgiving weekend show of 2020. So basically, it's the 28th. It's November 28th, 2020 for the time capsules and the spacefaring people-ish type things out there, maybe purple people or whatever, depending on your eyes. But it's going to be a great show. It looks like I have a pretty good connection tonight. It probably will be only interrupted by Skype once and, maybe a disconnect again for like 30 seconds. We'll find out. But we have an extra excellent show tonight. We have Jimmy Jean is coming on with us. He'll be coming on at the bottom of the hour, coming in with some good music. We said we were going to chill, right? I did say we're probably going to do some good talking and have some fun, get some frustrations out about the times, and, find out more what's on his mind. And, it's hard for me to catch up on my notes despite I have 30 pages every week. I lost my heater in the middle of the night last night. Stuff like that kind of slowed me down. And but great show. I got to hear a lot of people today on and off, though. Great show, John, Ivy, Mark Schneider. I actually got to listen to some of Bridget and Kelsey again just before the show. And kind of a mix. I always try to go back and forth. And even the Fadge, I don't even know how to say his name anymore. Basically earlier today, much in the morning, basically, or early afternoon. And, man, I'm kind of full, still finishing up some of the turkey stuff. Hopefully we'll have turkeys next year. Real ones, not the GMO meat. Not that I'm entirely against that, but I am against the people that want to shove it down your throat and or inject it into your veins with everything else, of course. I mean, depending if you're actually a robot by then or not, If you're a robot by then, uploaded, downloaded, so they say you're probably going to have glowing green blood. Or you can choose, of course, I'm sure, instead. But I got a little bit of a cold. I mean, man, it was cold last night with no heat. So Jimmy's going to help me out with that. He's kind of prepping for the show. Like I said, getting a tune ready or two or more, hopefully. And it'll be fun. So Jimmy Jean, one of our fellow hosts here on Revolution Radio. And basically, I've been listening to him pop on to first his own shows here, more than one. Check out the schedule. Look for him on days and late nights. He does both. And then other shows as well, like TFR. So that's a good. Matter of fact, that's one of the stations I mean to bring up once in a while. TFR and others. And I just couldn't think about it. I didn't have my little memo note since I was forced to move and everything to remind me. I never had time to kind of drift and listen to other stations. So, Truth Frequency Radio, a lot of great hosts there as well. Sort of like our brother, sister station, you could say. And so he's been on there. I got to hear a little bit of that as well. And if he can talk about that as well, if he'd like to, or whatever he's talking about there. But great shows, everybody, guys, today and lately, whatever I've gotten to hear. Last night, coming into the AM at midnight, basically, oh man, Gianna Noto, he kind of disappointed me. I want him to stay. I love him, but I think he misunderstood. He heard wrong what one of our new, I think she's a host. I think she still is a host. I think she became one. I forget her name. Since I moved, she became a host. And I never had my schedule right. I was never able to listen to her show. I heard her here and there call in. She seemed pretty intelligent, kind of like Heather Holman, sort of. I don't know. That's the closest I can come up with how to describe her voice, at least. So anyway, a lot of things have been happening in the news. Obviously, election fraud and this issue with Joe Biden trying to claim he's the president-elect. Remember, somebody recently brought this up. I forgot who. President-elect is a new term, and I believe it was from or for Obama. No one ever used that before. Excuse me, before. Got to get my drink. I never put my pepper in here, my cayenne pepper, to help me breathe right and A little bit of vitamin C in that. Don't forget, folks. Man, I wanted to give props to Vicki Davis today in particular. She came on. She was a great guest. Great guest on Operation Scorpio show today. Dolphin Dave, or it's Dolphin something. I call him Dolphin Dave. Pretty sure. But Giuseppe was on, of course. Unless it was Giuseppe's show, I forget who comes first. But they often, come together and help each other out, and have a lot of great comments to add and so on, and good questions for guests. But man, she talked about like the cookie cutter system, the Great Society. Basically, she kind of, you got to get to her site. Where's her site? What was the name of her site? I think I finally wrote down. She talked about things I meant to say, and only a few, not too often. I've only said like once, two, maybe three times. The one, let me see, what's it called? One World, One System is one of the descriptions. I think that's her article title, actually, but it's basically, it's the one world order kind of system. It's the technocratic system. It's based on energy units. So that's why they have the carbon credits. In other words, the carbon credits is the next thing to the energy unit, but it's like a biological energy unit. Plus they're going to have actual energy units, and that's going to be, it's basically going to be all tied into, because it takes electricity energy to run the grid, be it AI or just direct communications or otherwise, or to power and the computers and to keep us connected, and plus if you're a wirehead and you're linked up into the AI, so-called downloaded or uploaded, all that goes into play, and it will cost you. Every blip is meant to cost you. Every thought in your head is meant to cost you. And they're a high user group. They're a parasitic group that basically wants to use you to the nth degree, meaning every drop of blood, every thought in your brain, every spark of your neurons. And now if it becomes like a computer chip in your head, every little spark of every electron is going to cost you. So it'll be the air you breathe. If you move too much, if you drive at all, basically if you do anything that uses energy or causes you to breathe or create carbon footprint, so to speak, they want to charge you for that. Plus they want to charge you taxes and higher prices for the very much reduced any kind of product you might even be able to have, including, of course, a coffin apartment, or it might be a tube, right? You might just be in a pod, literally frozen in a pod, but your brain might be working. Oh, so they say, right? How are you going to know? They're going to trick you whether it's real or not. They're not going to give you any real technology, nothing really good. They're going to beta test everything on the human population until there's no one left to test anything on, essentially, right? But I really wanted to give it up for her, Vicki Davis, great guest, and she talked about, she just went on many areas involving the coronavirus, and she sounded kind of a lot like, what's her name? I'll try to think of it before the end of the show, who comes on with Giuseppe a lot, a great guest, the doctor woman who was working with and then turned against so-called Dr. Fauci. I can't think of her name. I love her. I always, I want to get her on. I got to get her on. I've been hesitant to getting anyone on for a long time because of my situation in the past, and then the expected move, the move itself, and I'm not even really moved yet. I'm still in between places, and it's just really difficult to know how to gauge anything, especially when the internet kept going out and being really bad for a while. So I had problems with Skype and more. But again, but remember, this is Revolution Radio at revolution.radio, a fully listener-supported internet. Basically, it's a global internet radio program It's the biggest one that is entirely supported by you, the listener only. We do not bow down to, big corporations and, pharmaceutical corporations making billions of dollars off half-cent frickin' little pills for the legal pill poppers. And then, of course, they make money on the side secretly by funding all the crack cocaine and everything else anyway. Again, at exorbitant prices, such as children being shot in the street. And I'm not against children having guns. And we've heard a lot of gun shooting lately, a lot of gun practice, our neighbors and more. And, we had some people that were nervous about it, so we tried to calm them down. And, no, honestly, the more I hear them practice, the safer I feel. The safer I feel. There was no commotion. There was no robbery. We made sure of that, stuff like that. It was a little late at night. I wouldn't consider it too late, but it was kind of late. But when you start hearing that, and you are going to hear it more, increase more with this whole Biden-Trump issue and the whole losing our rights issue. Judy Mikovits, by the way, now that I think of her name. But remember, these are people who want to basically preserve the American way, your rights, freedom. Not only theirs, but yours too. If someone like, let's say the government, some COVID tracker, going to track you down, hunter, I would call him a hunter like Hunter Biden. They'll be coming hunting you down. Some COVID hunter. You might need their help. I don't mind one bit. I know most people that handle guns know to not shoot them too high, not so that they go too far into the next street or area. We have a lot of woods. Wasn't worried about it landing past the trees. If you're too close, they can ricochet off a tree. Some of you, some people have said, which is true, but generally, if you're shooting down a hill into the woods, not to worry. Like, it was kind of at night, no neighbors in the woods. There's nothing to worry about. I was happy to hear it. I'm happy to hear it. I want to hear it more. And then we heard more in the daytime as well from someone else, other people. So to me, it's both good and bad news. In other words, they're getting ready. We don't care what you think Joke thinks, what Joke Biden thinks at all. We don't care. You're a joke. Now, honestly, I'm not entirely for Trump. And again, I often say, as much as I love his speeches and the good things he did do, great good things, again, I say it's still easily attributable to a Marxist plan, even him fighting Joke, because that's how they play the game. It's triple psychology. They know how to play the game. They know how to get you driven into, just clamoring for the enemy to get in. Now, imagine Trump is entirely, definitely on your side, always was, always planned on using the Space Force and so on, just exactly for America. It doesn't make any difference. As soon as he gets out, assuming he makes it out alive or doesn't disappear, or assuming he gets in, doesn't matter. Whoever gets in next time, they're going to be taking it from there. Could easily turn it against you. And that means everything. Everything's being set up. The whole vaccination thing's being set up, whether he actually plans on turning against the vaccine system or not. It still has provided the global enemy, massive enemy, with billions of dollars. Billions, in so many different ways. Got them to prepare openly the vaccination and tracking program. Whether or not he's trying to divert it, split it up from Bill Gates or not, or really just another way to add more to the enemy while looking like you're not. It's still tremendous amounts of money went into the Space Force and into the vaccination programs and the tracking and the delivery of. By who? Our own military. These are things that mainly concern me. I don't care what he says and how he says it. I care about what he does. And I also care even more about the possibility that even if he means well, He thought he was going to win. He thought he was going to overcome all the corruption and the ballot fraud and everything else. And let's say it doesn't matter. We know he won. We know he won. We do know that. Now, it cannot at all be accepted that Joe Biden gets in. Under no circumstance could joke be tolerated. Under no circumstances, period, whatsoever. Period. End of story. Violent revolution, go for it. I don't give a damn. Start pulling out the weapons, or just learn how to just completely disband, just completely non-comply in the greatest way you didn't think you could imagine you could do. Barely crawling on your hands and knees just to escape until we get back to sanity and cut their funding off, fight them back as much as we might have to, physically, mentally, in the courts and so on, of any courts that might actually be viable, legitimate, and basically what's that about? Inertia, trends, and so on. And like they say, it's really hard to turn around a big ship. It's really hard, okay? Without total destruction anyway. You can turn it around fast. You can turn that rudder hard. Yeah, it'll turn. It's not going to stay together. It's going to sink. Probably. Or be pretty damn damaged. Going to lose a lot of people. So every single day, because of what I would say is too much tolerance towards what I would call outright evil, obvious evil, which should be seen as obvious, criminal behavior and psychotic secret ruler issue kind of things, shadowy government kind of stuff, of which I understand quite well. The damage is going to roll on. Right now, an hour from now, the next hour, the next minute after that, every day for God knows how long, people are going to be dropping off the map. It will happen. It's not going to be stopped. Trump isn't stopping it. Trump didn't stop it. No one stopped it. Everyone said, no, hold back. No, hold back. And I know a lot of people don't want to start a revolution war. And I'm sure Jimmy's pretty generally peaceful. I know there's been times, I'm sure he's had the impulse to feel the need to fight. I listen to Jimmy when I can. I don't remember exactly what his views are. He's going to say exactly what they are. Whatever they are, they are. I'm not perfect yet. and it's going to be a long time before I am. So I don't really know what to do, absolutely, but that's why we're here, folks. So please donate, keep us going, keep us on air, and keep other hosts, like all of our hosts here, but hosts like Jimmy Jean. And don't forget to look for him in the on the schedule. I could look through it. He, of course, is going to tell us when he comes on. And I was thinking of trying to go and chat again today, but since I'm going to have someone else on being pulled through Skype, I got a little worried about it. Plus, I kind of didn't have time to probably have to re-sign up and everything. Let me make sure I understand when his show is. Let me see, just so you know before he comes on. So Jimmy Jean is coming on with us today, everyone. For those who haven't heard, in about less 10 minutes-ish from now, probably going to be coming in with a little music. Going to be chilling, chatting, having a whole bunch of fun, get his perspective, and maybe finish off, help you finish off the Saturday night, which ends on Sunday, just before Solaris and Dave Scott. Again, I think Dave Scott, I have heard Dave Scott's show since I said I haven't last week a little bit. So he does come on. It's just I have a huge delay when I try to pop his show on. I'm pretty sure that's all it is. Let me see, though. I started scrolling and I stopped. And I just want to get this right because I confused people's shows between Mondays and Tuesdays a lot, or, Fridays and Saturdays or something like that. And now that I kind of don't have my own schedule, it's kind of not entirely. I just am not often available to listen. And let me see, that's A. And let me double check. I think 6 o'clock show. Yeah, it is. Yeah, right. Into the microcosm. Into the microcosm. Jimmy Jean. That's Jean is with a G. In case you weren't sure, that would be daytime. That would be like the 6 p.m. In other words, like an evening show. Great show. That's the one I was able to listen to the most. But I used to be I think it was the 2 o'clock show. Really great to kind of get ready for bed for, too. And kind of as you're settling in. And he has a bunch of great guests and stuff as well. So check him out. There's no one I've ever basically agreed 100% with on anything, of course, like no one will. And we have a lot of great hosts with particularly, much. They're well informed in general on all the subjects you're going to need to listen to. But of the hosts we have here, I would say as far as open-mindedness goes and as flexibility goes, but combined with fun and actual true, off the cuff, from memory knowledge of anything to do with 9/11, corruption, even nature. I think we're going to be talking nature and connectivity of nature, something to that effect tonight as well. We'll get into that. Whatever he wants to talk about, basically, and which will be about 5 minutes, a little more from now. Let me see what I kind of forgot. I might have forgotten to say. Let me see. I wanted to check out what might be a stainless steel monolith found in Utah, 12 feet high and by something. I heard, but maybe I didn't explain the Giannotto. What's his first name? Oh, where the hell is it? On the whole agenda, which used to be Robert Pepino's his.
All right. Well, we're getting ready. It's almost time. He's going to be calling me any second here, and then it'll just be normal, I was listening to the show on the radio there. There's still like 40 people in the chat room over there. I don't know if they're listening to Bill or not, but it's quite a few people. So I'm looking forward to it, man. He's a very smart guy. I'm looking forward to talking about some shit. Just Saturday night hanging out, having the conversation about possibilities, you know. Anything's possible, right? Anything's possible, but some things are probable. So he should be calling me any second here. Hang on. I gotta move this mouse. Okay, so we are ready to roll. Hang on. Let's play some of this just in the meantime, because I don't know when he's gonna call.
Did it disconnect? Let me see. I'll try to do my... Okay, I'm actually going to use my video for the first time in a while, and I haven't even allowed this to be my video camera to be. It's been blocked for years. Jimmy seems to be getting on. The video may screw this up. I'm not sure. Jimmy, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, you don't need to go video. We're just going audio, so no sweatsky. You don't need to burn.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you don't need to burn your bandwidth up on that. It's no biggie. Especially in this Skype, it'll chew you up, pretty bad.
Yeah, it'll. Yeah, with this system of mine, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but
all right, cool. So, hello everyone. Smiles, yeah.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving, and good to see you.
Good to see you too. There's me. All right.
Yeah. Hey, great to have you on. I've been waiting for a while. I've been listening to you on and off, and it's like what I sort of almost described you as, and I know it's not the right way to put it, and I want this is meant to be entirely positive, because I want you to sort of show off in a way tonight, because against the snobs, the so-called educated people, you know what I'm saying? Like they think they're so much better than the little street guy and all that shit, and people who like to chill and party and stuff. And like, man, you blow them away, dude. You blow them away with your knowledge. You know, you and me probably learned so much just in some of the parties we've gone to. But what's on your mind, bro?
Oh man, there is so much on my mind. I mean, I'm working on something right now. I mean, I in case people never heard the show, we focus a lot on social engineering, but not only that, but really the technology surrounding the behavior modification complex. And so I've been in high tech. I was in building cell sites for 10 years. And before that, I did something called in-building transmission, which is I would take an off-the-air signal from a carrier, bring it into a building, amplify that signal, and distribute it throughout the building on an antenna system to make cell phones work that didn't penetrate buildings. And so I got into doing that, and I had a company, and I was doing that for about 10 years, and I ended up getting cancer from getting blasted one day from some Verizon antennas that I thought were off. I was standing in front of them, and then I ended up getting sick. And so I, went through the treatments and everything, and, I had stage 4 lymphoma. And so I had a lot of time to sit around and look into it. So, when I was doing the work, no one really told us anything. Mainly because when I got into doing this stuff, there was nobody doing it. In other words, in-building cellular transmission did not exist. And I worked with a team of engineers at Nextel that basically designed and came up with the idea, because their particular signal was down around 860 megahertz, and it didn't penetrate. So back then they got paid on minutes of use. So if you had a company with 300 cell phones and it doesn't work in the building, you got a problem. So Nextel basically would pay to have that building enhanced, and so that's how my company started. I started doing that, and I got into it only because I was already a cabling contractor, and I was already doing high-end systems in the Silicon Valley for a bunch of people, and I stumbled onto this guy who was putting this stuff in, and he basically, you know, he had a job for me to do, and they were expecting us to be in there for a week, and it was basically $3,500 for the job. They're expecting us to be there in a week, and me and my boy went in there and knocked it out in a day and had that thing online the next day to get our money. You know, we wanted to get paid, you know. And it was really, we were,
$1.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the dollar, basically. No, you go. It's pretty interesting. It reminded me of an old story real quick, though, that you got irradiated, basically, and one of the first cases for cancer from microwave dishes was when I was 9 years old, like 40x years ago. My friend Stephen Day, maybe I shouldn't have said his last name, but they always used to show their picture of their dead sailor brother. He died from cancer they knew was from the radar dishes. They'd have him work right on the radar dishes and warm up, and they'd feel it all the time, and they'd complain. Well, him and maybe his buddies died. They always said they were going to win that case, and years after I moved away, I saw in the paper they won. That was one of the first microwave cases maybe ever, like, you know. But and then from then through to 5G and Verizon and people like you, it's still happening. Go ahead, brother.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it is that, you know, the different phases that the cell phone industry has gone through, but this particular part of the industry, when this started, these systems were installed all over the place. So, I mean, these systems are in people's buildings right now, and they don't even know it. These systems there's antennas above the drop ceilings blasting signal on your head. If you're wondering why you went bald sitting in that cubicle, man, there might be an antenna right above your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, man.
So the thing about it is that when we got into it, there was nobody doing it, and we were in with the engineers. Engineers never said anything to us about the dangers of RF or whatever, and I ended up getting to be real good at getting signal anywhere. When you needed signal somewhere, you called me, and I had a pretty elite team of dudes that I trained, you know, and I was in the business for 25 years before I started my company. So I would do a method of practice, you know, and I would put these dudes in cell sites like an elite team to go in, take the racks out, all the rectifiers out, take everything out, and put everything back. They were expecting us to get one cell site a night done, start to finish, and I was knocking out 3 or 4 of them a night with my teams. And we ended up blowing through this whole rebanding effort when they moved off 860s into the 900s with Sprint, because 860 is close to the public safety frequency. So Nextel, and they were the most my biggest customer, because they were the ones that taught me. And so I did a bunch of work for them, and Nextel had contracts with the government, obviously. And the reason that all the police forces and the sheriffs and everybody used Nextel was because it was the only encrypted cell phone that was on the market, and also the push-to-talk aspect of it. So I did a bunch of work I did the whole Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department. I did Sacramento Sheriff's Department for AT&T. I started working for all the carriers, And eventually I got this rollout. That's what I was talking about earlier, which was they changed, they had a rebanding effort, and I went through. I was in charge of 350 cell sites from Redwood City, California, all the way down to San Luis Obispo. So, I'm in the business of making signal get places, and so I'm well aware of the dangers of all of it, and that's how originally why I even got on the air in the first place.
Right. Well, you're even more aware of the fact that they won't tell you what the dangers are, even when they know they are. I mean, you know what the dangers are, and of course, a lot of it's public now. But I mean, they're always going to try to roll whatever they can out long before anyone has time to argue it. But yeah, but go ahead though. Pretty good. Sorry to hear that though.
Yeah, well, it's no big, hey, I'm here, to tell the tale or whatever. So, when I originally got on the air, I was on Clyde Lewis's show a couple of times on 5G, and this was, probably 4 or 5 years ago. Before five.
Hey, wasn't that you were talking with on Bruce's about? I'm not sure. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were a little disappointed that he or someone else was not that alarmed about it. Did I hear it right?
No, I mean there's reasons to be alarmed, but I think people the situation is that people are working off a narrow band of information. And because people working off a narrow band of information, and they're not clarifying exactly what they're talking about. So to call something 5G is not to even understand what 5G even is, because 5G means a lot of things. 5G means the fifth generation of transmission methods. So, there was 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. Everybody's concerned about 5G now because they hear a lot of this talk about what's possible. Now, what I'm saying, I want people to understand, I'm not dispelling what can be done with wireless. I'm not dispelling that. What I am saying though is if you say 5G to me and you're talking about something, then you should be telling me exactly 5G at what frequency. 5G doesn't. Right. Everybody across the world, every carrier across the world is going to be 5G, but they all have an amount of bandwidth that they own that they transmit in. So every carrier is transmitting at a different frequency band that they own, that they're on. They don't transmit the whole spectrum. The other thing about 5G is it doesn't penetrate. So like I was telling you earlier, when I used to take off-the-air signal from a cell site 50 miles away and amplify it and distribute that within the building, it's the same thing that's going to have to happen with 5G because, see, 5G doesn't penetrate into buildings. 5G isn't on a giant tower somewhere blasting signal. 5G is little antennas on light poles 50 or 100 feet away from each other. And most of what they're going to be utilizing that 5G for has nothing to do with cellular. Now, there's another sleight of hand that's going on here, too. Because there's also another thing called 5G, which doesn't necessarily get talked about too much, but it's really the one people should be worrying about. And that's the one called 5G in your house, that 5 gigahertz wireless transmission. So the 5G gigahertz in your house, that 5G is something you should really be concerned about.
Yeah, that really concerns me. What about this Elon Musk, CubeSat thing with 5G? I mean, what isn't that kind of are they close? Basically, what can you say about that? I mean, do you think it's really 5G, but it has ultra high detectability? I mean, are the CubeSats super, sensitive? Is there an issue with transmission? It can travel further because there's much less atmosphere before it hits the dense atmosphere. I mean, you have people talking, they don't believe Elon Musk's CubeSat thing is actually 5G. What does he mean by that? At least, do you know anything about that?
No, I'm not sure what someone would mean, but what I can say is that first of all, so this satellite system that's going up, um, part of those costs are being offset by military funding.
Yeah.
They say, hey, man, let me ride on your satellite and I'll offset 40% of your overhead.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so the thing about it is, it's a two-edged sword. Okay, because listen, the wireless horse is out of the barn, man. Yeah, I mean, people should understand that the 2.4 gigahertz that your wireless router at your house has been blasting you with all these years, just laying there in the closet or whatever, it's the same frequency they use to cook water in your microwave, and they surround that microwave with metal to keep it inside. But
Yeah.
but what happens is, water heats up, and the reason microwave cooks is because the molecules of the water that's in the food bang up against each other and cause heat, which is the
Yeah.
same.
Basically, the water is cooking the food, and the microwave is cooking the water.
And what is the human body? Isn't it mostly
It's
water?
water. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. So, I mean, realistically, the wireless horse is out of the barn. So most people, outside the alternative or independent media, the people going against 5G you've seen they've been squashed pretty heavily across the board. And that's because the world is heavily invested in what's about to happen, from a technological standpoint, because we're moving into the future. I mean, once we get past all this, whatever we're going through here in America right now, at some point we will move into that future, and the future is going to include cars that are driving themselves in these downtown areas. Probably, I mean, my impression of what's going to happen is, I mean, these areas that are going to get burned up and blown up and all this, and they're going to come back with a new downtown where you won't be able to drive your own car. You'll have to park your car and get into these self-driven cars that'll take you into the shopping areas, which you'll be allowed to go into based on your ability to identify yourself, which we can talk about some more if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, I mean, I'm basically I understand the evil version of the technocratic planned future and the whole bit. Feel free to go in any direction as far out as you'd like as well, conservative as you'd like, no problem. And but yeah, basically a future city. They want the smart cities. I call the smart cities smart. And they want them round for one to do exactly what you're saying. They want it efficient, so they want it to go in circles, but they don't want you to go out of the city. So they'll get into a car you just described and control it for you, but you're not going to go far. You're gonna go maybe through a tube or an Elon tunnel to the next city if you're allowed to. But yeah, please continue though. Sorry to interrupt.
No interruption. I mean, this is we're moving into the future, and that's the thing. We are on the precipice of the future, and a lot of the measures that we've seen happen, over the last 9 months, are trying to push that future in a lot quicker, man. They're tired of going inch by inch. They're trying to this incrementalism. It can't continue. The
Yeah,
incre-
my issue with Trump, and I know you're not all full Trumper either. He put this 5G and he furthered these plans with our tax money. The 5G system is now a militarized operation. Well, I mean, we can talk about that later or not at
Well,
all,
we can
but
talk about it right now because I mean, have you heard of the clean 5G initiative that Pompeo put forward? That all the 5G that they use is going to be clean apps, clean servers, clean everything. I'll when we hit the break, I'll go grab the article and we can get into some of the details of it.
yeah.
I mean, they're planning on switching. I mean, who knows? It's probably up and running right now Because what they did
Yeah, of
was
course.
they
Of course it
eliminated.
is.
So listen, they eliminated all contractors in between. They eliminated any materials or any technology that came from China. They're here. Why don't you grab the helm here and let me jump and grab this article so we can get into just a little
Yeah,
bit because we've got about 10 minutes before the break. Let me go
right.
grab this real quick.
Yep, yep. All right, cool. And I gotta actually cough a second. Hold on a minute. Clear my throat a little bit. Let me take a sip as well. Yeah, so we have Jimmy Jean is on with us right now, folks. If you didn't hear, if you don't know who you're listening to on with me tonight, basically an advanced. I mean, hippie is not the right word. I don't know the right word, but an advanced. If you were to look at him sort of as a hippie, an intelligent, advanced genius hippie, basically with real time experience with you know what, a lot of us hosts and the guests on Revolution Radio and other alternative sites and the new news, not necessarily alternative, but the real news sites, you know, talk about. So it usually takes a problem for someone to go really deep into figuring out why did that happen, what is wrong with either me or what the hell is wrong with the world or the doctor or the government. And so, you know, basically, he got whacked, more or less, you could say, got him thinking and digging in deep and gave him the time, and that's what he did. So you know, Jimmy Jean, a fellow host here, great guy to listen to and chill with, and he'll pop in some music. And
I'm
I often don't have time to go grab the articles. I write notes down for, of which he's doing right now. So
I
that's
got
helping
us.
me out a lot.
I got us covered.
And
I got us
you
covered.
know, it hopefully will help you, the listener out there, and hopefully it will be enough to get you to donate at least $1. I mean, $5 or something. Just go on the home page. There's like 3 ways, or go into chat. Get in chat. We got tons of people in chat. Jimmy Jean might even be in chat himself, actually. I'm kind of afraid to when someone else is on in particular, and I just got my net going pretty decently, consistently the last couple of weeks and a little before that. So after one of those catastrophe shows that I just couldn't really get through, and it kept dropping on me and stuff like that. But they're bringing 5G here to where I'm at. I prefer fiber optics. I want fiber optics.
Yeah, so that's what
And
that's what that's
other
what
than that, I really prefer, let's say we all have a satellite dish, but it's not going to a satellite. It's going to a much lower powered um, transmitter somewhere in the neighborhood
yeah.
or on a hill.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, continue. Yeah, did you find that
Yeah,
article?
I got the article.
Cool.
So, but I wanted to add to what you were saying, or just say. So the thing is that when the Telecommunication Act was passed and they started to deregulate long distance, and people started selling long distance over AT&T's phone lines and over Pac Bell's phone lines, Pac Bell and all them said, you know what, man, we're not gonna put the last mile in. And so what happened was they left the last mile where they needed to put that fiber. They didn't do it. And so nobody did it, and now here we are. And so what happened is, and this is why I got into wireless in the first place. But if I'm a cabling contractor and I got to get a piece of cable from here to there, I got to go through permits. I got to stop traffic. I got to set up cones. I got to go. I got to I got to
Yeah.
and so nobody wanted to do that. So it's way easier to throw up a piece of wireless and blast some signals. So that's what basically happened. But it got out of control because nobody's watching it. So that's the whole thing, is there needs to be some sort of a citizen council that sits over this stuff, because
Yeah.
nobody is watching over anybody, man, because this country is based on one thing and one thing only, and that is profits. So
Right. Money. And it's you know which money, the Rothschild money, basically.
money, money, money. So here's what the Department of State, U.S. Department of State, the Clean Network. The Clean Network is clean carriers, clean apps, clean stores, clean cloud, clean cable, clean path. And we call on all freedom-loving nations to join freedom-loving nations and companies to join the Clean Network. Michael Pompeo, Secretary of State. The Clean Network is a program that the Trump administration's comprehensive approach to safeguarding the nation's assets, including citizens' privacy and companies' most sensitive information from aggressive intrusion by maligned actors such as the Chinese Communist Party. Clean Network addresses the long-term threat to data privacy, security, human rights, and principled collaborations posed to the free world by the authoritarian maligned actors. Man, this is
laying it on thick. I don't trust it, to be honest. You gotta hope, right? But I mean, do you trust it?
Well, you know, the internet blinked a little while ago. Last week or a couple weeks ago, there was this blinking that took place, and I went across and looked at all the carriers, and all the carriers across the United States, all their internet all blinked at the same time. And my co-host and I were kind of kicking around the idea that there might have been some point where something was rebooted, maybe to lose some of the information that people are trying to track down with this current situation that's going on politically. There might have been some rebooting and some information that's been deleted permanently, but other than that, there might have been a rebooting because this network came online, this clean 5G.
Well, you know, I worry about every time something like that happens, because to me it's like they're gauging, they're re-gauging, they're recalibrating their system against Americans. And of course that's a little paranoia, but I'm sick of seeing what my paranoid thoughts are coming, keep coming true.
Well, I tell you what, I'm working on something right now for my show on Monday, and I happen to have a little piece of something that I'll be happy to share with your audience tonight after. Do you have a top of the hour break?
Yeah, we do actually.
Okay, great. So, what do we got? A 3-minute break at the top of the hour. When we come back, I'll come back and I'll bring this little chunk of something, and I'll make everybody aware of something. And it's pertinent to what we're seeing right now with the current political situation in the election system. Because there's a big difference between election fraud and voter fraud. And what happens is they try to superimpose one over the other. One is really hard to prove. The other one is totally forensic in nature. And if you know how, and when I'm going to show you, what I'm going to bring to the table right now on your show, is you're going to love it, man. You are going to love it, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you stick around and come back after the break, because
yeah, definitely.
This here is going to it's something called stellar wind, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. So
yeah, it's a good name too, good title. Yeah, I think it's more like a 4-minute break. It could be 3 though. It's like it's always quicker. You're probably right. It's probably about 3 minutes, because lately I've barely had time to get back to my seat, rushing around. And so give it 3 minutes, folks. Don't forget, we're listener supported. So during the break, best time to donate. Just click on any one of the many ways to donate, or snail mail it to Terry. And the stellar, what do you call it? Stellar wind? What?
The stellar wind, man. Wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear this dude from the NSA breaking down how they put together the domain matrix in 3D to pull you through the domains they have set up and put a timeline on paper of your life.
Yeah, the lifeline, right?
Yeah, well, guess what? Every single stroke in America, including everything that happened with this election, went straight up to Utah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, guess what, man? That means everything that happened in this election is sitting up there right now. And
assuming they had enough water to keep the frickin' things from blowing up, right?
He says that they have enough space up there to monitor every single thing for 100 years and store it. So
well, they probably have much better processors and so on too.
Well, yeah,
by like what, 1 billion times maybe, for all we know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that is in the current world, but we're also talking about quantum computing. And we're also, talking about the space between. It's not a 1, it's not a 0, and that's the place where where data is going to be stored in the future for your ID, for your digital ID that you'll have to have, because there has to be positive ID from now on. And that's where we're heading. And we're almost there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're fully listener supported. Head on over there. Become a patron. You know, don't yell out the window, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore. If you're mad as hell and you can't take it anymore, come on down and invest in the last bastion of free speech. The house that the Nighthawk built right here, still standing like a brick house. So, patron, come on down.
Definitely. Here's the break, folks, and Jimmy Jean will be coming back to some pretty good you know what. So I can't wait, Jimmy. It'll be cool. And give it about 3 minutes, folks. I'm kind of losing my page here, but donate.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
This is the people's war. It is our war. We are the fighters. Fight it then. Fight it with all that is in us. And may God defend the right.
Warning! Warning!
We gotta stop them! They're gonna kill us all! See how the trouble you've started? Be they the government, be they industry, be they organized labor, be they anyone, or human beings. Time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported talk radio station, throwing ourselves upon the gears of the machine. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it. Right, you tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Revolution Radio.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
Ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
and I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Hello, Karl Marx here. Look at my wonderful hair. Notice how I sweep it back.
Carl?
I call it the 360 sweep. Beard, sideburns, and the magnificent coif.
Carl!
What? What is this?
You're on the radio. They can't see you.
Oh, yeah, I get confused. Want to learn more about the Marxist agenda and other important stuff? Listen to The Ultimate Remedy with L.B. Bork, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Revolution Radio.
All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
Got a new kind
My name's Jimmy. It's Revolution Radio. You're listening to The Dreamer with Bill Grant. That's right. Revolution Radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So
Rockin'.
yeah, man. That's a little bit of that's a little filter. Hey, man.
Yeah, I used to. I probably did a few karaoke. That is one of my karaoke songs there. So I'd be the screamer. I was going to be the screamer, by the way. But yeah, I kind of messed up your intro, didn't I?
No, I didn't even hear you, man. My headphones were cranked, and all I heard was that music. I didn't hear you at all, so I don't know what it sounded like over there. But
it sounded good from here. Yeah.
So so I found this guy. I found this guy that came out. I think he came out in. I want to say he came out in 2001. He left the NSA. So I think he started to whistle blow at some point. I'm not sure when that started, but what he started to talk about was this program the reason he says that he left the NSA was because they had during the Bush administration they had turned the apparatus around on the American people, and so he felt that it was he wasn't cool with it, so he said he was going to leave. Now for whatever reason this window is cracked out on me, so let me just bust back here and reload this thing. So he came out. He's been all over. So after I heard this original information, I went and looked the dude up, and he's got a bunch of very detailed and hours long talks on this particular technology, or how they utilize it as far as the NSA is concerned, and how they get information. So I got this together here. I'm just waiting for this unskippable commercial to play, and then we can get right into the information. You want me to play the whole thing and talk about it after, or you want me to stop it when there's something interesting? I mean, do you want to just, it's like, here, let's...
How long is it? Like 15 minutes?
No, it's about 8 minutes, but let's just listen to the first bit of it,
yeah.
And then I'll stop it, and then we can comment on it. Here it comes. Ready? Here it comes.
Yep.
So this is an op-ed, and this to the NSA people, when they talk about this, it's called The Program, and they're just showing some pictures of Bluffdale, Utah, and they're talking, showing pictures of the building. It says, following 9/11, the National Security Agency began a top secret surveillance program to spy on U.S. citizens without warrants. Codenamed Stellar Wind, or The Program to Insider. The full scope of the surveillance has not been made public. So, let me tell you this guy's name.
I was breaking different codes and data systems, and doing data analysis against the Soviet Union.
So this dude's name is Benny. His last name. He worked at the NSA for 32 years. He's regarded as one of the best mathematicians and code breakers in the NSA.
So this is this Bill Benny?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because a lot of people call him Benny, but I know you just said Benny. I do know you said it correctly, so I assumed it was him. Yeah, that guy's great, but yeah, go ahead. This is a good idea.
Okay, great. Here we go.
After 9/11, they took one of the programs I had done, or the back end part of it, and started to use it to spy on everybody in this country. So, and that was a program they created called Stellar Wind. That was separate and compartmented from the regular activity that was ongoing, because it was doing domestic spying. All the equipment was coming in. I knew something was happening, but then when the contractors I had hired came and told me what they were doing, it was clear where all the hardware was going and what they were using it to do.
So, Bill, I just want to bring this up real quick. So he talks, and this is what intrigued me about this whole thing. The only reason I was interested, I was watching this, but I didn't really get interested until he made this distinction of the way that this was built. So he says banking is a domain, this is a domain, that is a domain. So they set up these domains. Right. And then he said, then we made it 3D. They make a 3D geometric shape of that with a hole in the middle. And he sort of just demonstrates how he pulls the information through the hole of the donut. And when he pulls your name through that hole, he comes out of the other side with your whole life that he can literally demonstrate on a timeline. And I find that to be very intriguing, just from the mathematical geometric shape of it and how he was describing it. To my visual in my mind, I could see exactly how they scrape these domains. And he literally talks about how they created social media so they could go in and just pick whole groups of people and lift them out of the social media by themselves and examine them psychologically or any other way.
Yeah, and this guy Bill, or William Binney, this guy is as trustworthy as they come. This guy is absolute, no doubt about it.
Yeah, this is some good stuff. So the thing is it's kind of, they're trying to make it look nice, so there's a bunch of these blank spots in between the actual talking, so I'm trying to keep us going here and keep it moving so we don't waste too many minutes, because this is really good stuff here, and I really think it relates to the election, because when you think about what he's saying, you know that every keystroke during this election anywhere has been recorded.
Yeah.
And
someone's got it.
They make the distinction too that it's not illegal to record the information in and of itself by itself. That's not illegal. You need a warrant to look at the information that has been recorded. That's the law. So the thing is, every single thing that happened with this election, every single keystroke between the operators and people stealing votes and machines going back and forth and dropping and memory sticks getting pulled out and all this shit, it's all recorded. Period.
Yeah, and despite what most people would think about recording America, I would say this would be a legitimate reason for the government to record, for the purpose of pulling it back up and proving, how the election went and so on. This would probably be one of the few cases I would agree with, because it's like our tax money paying to have information we can all review later. But yeah, I don't want to slow you down. I know we want to get through this tape.
Yeah, let's get through this. Here we go.
It was simply a different input. Instead of being foreign, it was domestic input.
Somebody told me that they can listen to what we're saying by my having this, even if it's turned off.
Yes.
Okay, so he's sitting here with a couple of people, and this guy's showing him his cell phone, and he's saying, someone told me that you can listen to me with my cell phone even if it's turned off. And Benny says yes. Okay, here we go.
Here's the real grand design. Every domain, think of a domain as an activity, a specific type of activity. Phone calls, or banking is another domain. So if you think of graphing each domain, and then each graph then turning it in the third dimension, the trick now is to map through all the domains in that third dimension, pulling together all the attributes that any individual has in every domain, so that now I can pull your entire life together from all those domains and map it out and show your entire life over time.
So I'll show you how easily you can have people begging to have a positive quantum blockchain ID with their retina scan and their DNA, because if the all-powerful computer in the sky comes back with the timeline of your life and says you did this and you did that, how are you going to prove you didn't?
Right, and who are the people, kind of the lefty type people going to believe, of course, or they're not going to care at all.
I'm just saying, how can you prove you're not the guy on the other end of that keyboard? You can't, because nobody IDs in. So the thing is, with deep fake and all the AI possibilities of utilizing any video of somebody and turning it into something else, somebody could put you at the scene of a crime, GPS you, take a picture of you with their cell phone, GPS that phone call, all this stuff, and put you in someplace where you weren't. And there's no way that you could ever prove that that's not you.
Like the president.
Exactly. So the thing is that's what's going to make people want to call for a positive ID of themselves, so that they can say, hey, no, man, I was at my house. And we'll talk a little bit about the technology that they're going to use for this for this COVID thing that's going on right now too, because it's a pretty intense bill of fare, and from an integration standpoint, there's quite a bit there. So let me bounce this up here a little bit. So here we go. It says Benny calculates this facility has the capacity to store 100 years worth of the world's electronic communications. Here we go.
Why you're not afraid?
Why should I be?
Because if what you're saying it was possible, it would be revolutionary and people would have a vested interest in preventing that from happening.
I'm too old to be afraid. I'm too old.
So he's saying he's too old and no one's going to kill him for doing it.
I'm not sure how many of you got a chance to hear Keith Alexander yesterday, the head of the NSA, talk about the NSA's activities. Bill, how do you reconcile, is there some way to reconcile General Alexander's statement that the NSA isn't keeping track of every American with the existence of a facility like the one in Utah?
NSA's charter, and it was a legitimate one, was to do foreign intelligence, and I was with that all the way, and I did the best I could in that job. Unfortunately, they took those programs that I built and turned them on you, and I'm sorry for that. I didn't intend that, but they did that.
What you're describing really is hard to reconcile with the laws as the laws are generally understood by the lawyers who work with them.
Most people are familiar with the Webster's definition of intercept. UCIT 18 has a different definition, and that's an intercept doesn't take place until it's actually
U.S. SID 18 is the NSA's top secret manual of definition and legal directives. So intercept and the definition of it.
Listen to until somebody puts on some earphones or actually reads some text on a screen, so you can pull in all the communications you want.
The acquisition isn't the search, the querying later on is the search. They can then keep it in their database and target after the fact by going back and conducting data mining searches afterward, in other words.
So Benny is sitting there, and while this guy next to him is talking, Benny is shaking his head vigorously up and down as this guy's saying it. So what he's saying is, you're nobody, you're an individual until you become a subject. And then once you become a subject, it's possible for you to become a suspect based on your activity or your monitored activity that is being monitored, like we talk about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So during this 9 months that we've been here, there's been a major data scraping operation going on. So any kind of all the angry comments and all the all this stuff has all been scraped, and everybody's been, it was Jade Helm 1 was mastering the human domain, then Jade Helm 2 came in. You know, you see Q in that whole operation. There's another data scraping operation. Regardless of what you think of Q, I can still monitor all of Q's activities and all the posts that go on and all the individuals and all the trees that form off of that, and put a whole group together and pull you out just like that in a millisecond.
Right. So in other words, Q basically being taken over had it been entirely organic and real.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to have anything to do with whether it's real or it isn't. What it has to do with is the people that believe in it and that follow it, and the messages and all the stuff they send back and forth to each other, and all the communications that go back and forth, and all the micro groups that form, and all the aggressive, extremist groups that form out of frustration. This type of thing is, there is no keystroke, there is nothing that's not under scrutiny. And literally at this point, from some of the work I've done, if you're already psychotic, it's easy to throw you into a whole paranoid schizophrenic psychological condition by overdosing your dopamine. So, I mean, there's just so many, this can be done via your cell phone. The cell phone is a direct bridge to the whole technology that's available for behavior modification. And at this point, since there's nobody behind, there's nobody protecting anybody from it, I mean, you can just say, it's just marketing, It's, just marketing. I'm just trying to make profit for my company.
Hiding behind corporate, basically behind the corporations running the governments and the people, essentially.
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is, look, technology is always a two-edged sword, It's a two-edged sword because, basically, some of the things that we fight against are not necessarily in our best interest. I mean, a lot of what's going on here, if people would really realize what it was, what they were actually looking at, then we can make moves into a direction where we have our cognitive liberty guaranteed, and that should be something that's guaranteed in the Constitution. My ability to have my own thoughts in my own head without anybody coming in and using technology to make me think something or make me buy something or make me look at something or make me act a certain way. So, but
right. And remember, I wanted to say this. I forgot to say this before you came on. I didn't want to use up your time, but Ivy West had a great saying today, which I kind of.
Something happened. You back, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, something happened. You faded out. You said Ivy West, and you faded out there.
Oh, okay. I just quoted Ivy West, something I've implied in the past, but it went like this. Just remember, you can vote yourself into communism, but you have to shoot yourself out,
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been social engineered to this moment. I mean, this is the moment of truth. No matter who wins this election, the American people are going to be the losers because somebody's going to be pissed. And the difference is that if the liberals are the ones that are pissed, the turmoil and destruction will happen instantaneously. If it goes the other way, the right side of the idea is less likely to destroy and do things. They're more likely to hang back, figure out what's going on, that type of thing. But I think eventually what'll happen is, if I was to think of a scenario, a button pushing psychological scenario, if Biden was in office, he gets in, the right side, is just more, civilized about what's going on. They're taking it like a man or whatever, that type of thing. But then all of a sudden there's some activity that happens, and they start to turn the apparatus around against the white Christian conservatives and start calling everybody white extremists. And they happen to separate along the same lines as the people that don't really want to take the vaccine. So there's this whole group of people that have sort of been singled out and are being lumped in with these extremist groups that exist. But the people are not those extremist groups, but the people from the other side have been psychologically engineered to equate the people that support anything on the right as the supporters of this extremism, which isn't actually true. It's just a psychological operation to get everybody inflamed against each other to reach this maximum point of volatility. The volatility point is we are there. So
I'm more of one of the more angrier, jaded people who is I don't know what to do. Sometimes I'm entirely peacenik. The other time I'm violent, and I believe in in other words, if Biden gets in and reverses TPP and all kinds of things and puts our mandates masks, starts taking the guns. I mean, I don't believe in going like BLM and Antifa and blowing up everybody's freaking business and destroying your own town and lighting the woods on fire either. But I mean, God, I don't know, Jimmy. I could get violent, and I'm sure they just data scrape that too.
Well, the thing about it is when you look back, just looking back in history, you see, for example, that. And this isn't to say there's anything good or bad about people doing what they do. Let's just say this is what happens. Typically, people on the right, if there's a war, they're not out publicly protesting with signs in the street. Typically, the right side of the organization, is all good with war. They don't go out in the streets and protest stuff. So that whole group of people is different than the left side, because they have always been the ones out in the street to begin with. So that's naturally what they do. When their level of frustration reaches a certain point, the psychology of that particular philosophical viewpoint of the way we are set up,
right?
They're typically out in the streets with signs no matter what it is. So the thing is that the other side of the coin has to, they showed their support and they went up to Washington, D.C., which was an amazing feat and an amazing event to actually see people, conservative people, coming together and going up there and doing a little bit of showing what they feel. And, and I think, I'm just hoping that everything works out for the best, Bill. The thing is...
Me too, man. But you know what? You bringing that... I'm glad you just brought up that, bro. That made me feel good. Really did. DC rallies and stuff.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be ugly. And that's the thing is, we're at a point where we can't even all sit down and even have a conversation. And, if somebody's not hip to the mainstream is only now, after all this time since the election, alluding to the fact that there may be something going on with Trump, and him not leaving office, because up until now, the mainstream media has been pumping this thing like it's a done deal. He's got his first 100 days ready to go. He's picking people, he's doing this, he's doing that. So the thing is that the culture shock of Trump coming out with forensic evidence from out of Utah, from this stellar wind, and then showing that this is not the way that it is. This place will blow, man.
Yeah, even if he is truly like setting us up like a Marxist or something, I still want Trump in. For a lot of good reasons. Obviously, it'll buy us more time as well. But yeah, man, that'll be awesome. That is awesome. But did I interrupt the program we're listening to? Did we finish?
Let's go back to Benny and let's hear what else is going on here.
To get the information that they couldn't target from the outset.
And there is another real problem. Unfortunately, the software will, once it takes in data, it will build profiles on everybody in that data. The purpose is to be able to monitor what people are doing. You build social networks for everybody. That then turns into the graph, and then you index all that data to that graph, which means you can pull out a community that gives you an outline of the life of everybody in the community.
Let me just tell you, man, that's the keys to the kingdom right there. That is the whole game. I'm going to play this again. I want everybody to hear this again. Listen very closely to what he says.
Graph, which means you can pull out a community.
Hold on.
That gives that data. The purpose is to be able to monitor what people are doing. You build social networks for everybody.
You build social networks for everybody.
That then turns into the graph, and then
that turns into the graph.
Index all that data to that.
Index the data.
Graph, which means you can pull out a community. That gives you an outline of the life of everybody in the community. And if you carry it over time from 2001 up, you have that 10 years worth of their life that you could lay out in a timeline. That involves anybody in the country. Even senators and House of Representatives, all of them. The dangers here are that we fall into something like a totalitarian state like East Germany.
In 2007, the FBI raided the homes of Benny and 2 other NSA whistleblowers.
Well, they came in guns drawn, in my house. They didn't do that to the others, but they did it to me. I guess, I don't know. They thought I was probably the most dangerous of all, so I don't know. I don't know what was in their minds, okay? So, but they did that, and they came in and pointed a gun at me when I was getting out of the shower at the time, so they pointed a gun right at my old head, said, hey. So, I wasn't too upset. I just said, yeah, suppose I could get dressed here. They weren't intimidating me anyway, so.
I gotta say, I read body language and I watch this guy, and I'm also a high functioning empath. So I'm picking up energy off Benny while I'm watching him, and he is very proud of himself with what he's developed here, even though he doesn't like, like I was saying earlier, it's a two-edged sword. He doesn't like how it's being used, but what you should see the look on his face. He exudes a lot of. He's very proud of what he did. He must have built something just unbelievable. And the thing about it is, when you think about AI type formats where you have machines building their own software based off of this same thing that he did so long ago. You can only imagine how to the level that it's been taken to at this point. To where they literally, I bet you that to this point it's probably like 99.9% correct prediction about what you and I are going to do in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, and like what we're going to order, as we keep hearing,
Yeah, because,
online.
Yeah, because buying signals, buying signals is a really important part of this behavior modification complex. The buying signal.
Hey, but real quick, we're at the bottom of the hour. We're not going to have a break, but I wanted to give you a chance to make sure everyone knows exactly when you're on, because I keep confusing you between Monday and Tuesday. Which night is this?
Yeah, we're on Monday night at 3 Pacific, and that's myself and Brandy. She's my co-host.
Oh, yeah.
And then on Friday night at 11 Pacific, I'm on with Rockin' Rio and the Epic Journeyman, and that's our late night show. We talk about more, we get into different types of subject matter. So Mondays when I'm with Brandy, we look at a lot of different stuff. It's not always the same kind of thing. I've been caught up in what's been going on. I mean, but this is a moment in history, and typically I'm not a reactionary. I don't react to stuff that's going on. I'm usually doing my own thing. I have something I want to put forward as a presentation, and that's usually what I work on. I don't typically get involved in politics, and the thing is if I do get involved in politics, I'm a centrist. Okay, I don't care who's in office, man. If you're doing something that's not right, I'm gonna go after it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, me too. I'm middle of the ground. I guess I would call it a centrist. Thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, you have a good show, and you still do the 2 a.m. show here Eastern time, though, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the 11 Pacific show, so it's 2 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, so 3-hour time difference, and so that's so it's 6 on Monday Eastern and 2 on. So I guess it's technically on Saturday night or Saturday morning. But anyway, I've been doing a late night show on weekends for a long time, and so I've always had this issue where I'm promoting the show on Friday, but it's on a Saturday because it starts at midnight.
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah, right.
So people,
it's funny. I usually say basically Tuesday into Monday. I mean, Monday into Tuesday, and the midnight show. And I do try to clarify when I bring that stuff up too. So yeah, it's like kind of hard because to us, it's the end of our day. Maybe it's still for us the last day, but it is really the next day and that whole bit. But folks, I mean, Jimmy Jean is great. Anytime I've, ever gotten to listen to him since, to me, Jimmy, you're still new on the station to me, even though you've been here a while. How long's it been?
So it's been a year in September.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
but great shows, man. Everybody, you got to give them a listen. And, basically you were on TFR and everything. That's pretty normal for you, isn't it? And we can hear you go on Bruce's show in the morning a lot too.
Yeah, I was over hanging out with Kev Baker, show, and I was over doing Freaky Friday yesterday with the boys. And so, it's a chance to relax and talk about stuff, just to get away from all of this and just talk about something else, and just get away from all this stuff. That's the thing. For most.
Well, I heard. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I mean I wanted to make sure you had more time to get anything off your shoulder because you did sound you were getting a little extra frustrated like a lot of us were with what the hell is going on, and I value you a lot here as a host, and God, I wish I was able to be able to hear you more. So everyone who's ever you're listening to, first of all, I am Bill Grant, your host of Dreamer, but we have Jimmy Jean on with us. You are listening to Jimmy Jean, Gene, and Jimmy. So basically, Jimmy with the Y at the end, and just look for him on the schedule, folks, and then please donate as well. Keep people like Jimmy on here. It's not really about me. I can barely function. Okay. It's about the station, and it's about people. You're just gonna love to sit and frickin' chill with Jimmy. Okay, just trust me. All right, Jimmy, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
whenever you want to get back to.
Yeah, no, you didn't interrupt, but it's a family atmosphere around here at Revolution Radio. It's got a different vibe, man. It's almost got a public radio vibe to it. Not that it's like that, but from that political point of view, but just from the aspect that it just there's been people here for a long time, and there's been people that have they've been to where people are going already and been back from there already. It's like I've been where you're going and I've been back already, man.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what's going on over there. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
good way to put it.
I've been around this stuff for a long time as far as the alternative media goes. I mean, I haven't been broadcasting, but I mean, I've been around this stuff, since 9/11 happened, obviously, and then more intensely after I got sick because I had a lot of time to, lay around or whatever and do research or whatever. So,
or research, I would say, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. But, so I've been around for a while. So, I mean, I've heard the hosts, man. I've seen people go completely, literally insane on air. I mean, literally hosts getting locked up, hosts getting killed, hosts getting arrested for whatever. I've seen people just, end up doing their show from the laptop in their cars, on their way out, begging for money. You know what I mean?
Matter of fact, you're referring to Bridget for one. She finally.
No, I wasn't even talking about her at all. I didn't know she was in trouble. I didn't know she was in trouble. I was talking about somebody else, but.
Oh, okay. But we have just before this show on this same, Studio B, just before we came on, is we have Bridget Dolgoff. She came back after those kind of problems happened. She got back with us just recently, so she's now on a new schedule just before us with Kelsey. And please continue though. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, but so the thing is lots of people make really serious investments in trying to bring information out to people, and for the most part, nobody gets paid. I mean, the people that are getting paid, those are the ones that are handing down the talking points to everybody else. and everybody else is just doing the legwork for free to promote this this talking point generator. You know that I mean, ex-Palantir people working at the place, InQtel, so on and so forth, and then everybody takes their feeding from that trough, and they're poisoning the well or whatever. It's like when Drudge Report used to exist before the way that it is now. You can say that across the board, you would say that about 80% of anybody who was conservative would go there and get their news from there. And so that means that all those conservative talk shows that were going on were all taking their talking points from Drudge. Drudge makes his business model, he makes money off putting those links up there. He doesn't.
Right. And we don't make any money doing it.
Well, I'm just saying, all the news he was putting up there, those red links, they weren't as important as people thought they were. He was getting paid to put that red link up there, man. And they're promoting that story. So what I'm saying is Drudge was generating the talking points. So if you're playing the game of Battleship, you want to torpedo that battleship, right? So somebody buys up Drudge Report. I mean, everybody's got their price. So, eventually somebody's going to come up with the right number and then completely change the whole viewpoint of the website. And leave everybody hanging. Where does everybody go now? Everybody's scattering to the wind. Oh, Newsmax, OAN, all this stuff. The thing is just this, there's a giant hole developing for some place for somebody to step in.
Yeah, definitely, and good points. And isn't, there was a time I heard Newsmax was kind of bought out by the Democrats. Did I get that? Sorry, I'm kind of cold if it's coming through, but yeah. I don't know. Did I hear it wrong? Did I misunderstand that thing with Newsmax in the past?
I think there's some people may have some question about where the money came from behind the whole thing. I'm not sure. And there's a couple of viewpoints going by on there that I think a lot of people aren't too happy about. So I think people, like I said, I mean, now that everything's been smashed up to the wind, and that's the thing is, you can't. The biggest, hardest part about moving civilization into the next phase is tearing down everything that's old and putting the new stuff in, because the systems exist for people to make money off the old system. And so those people are, set the way they are. They're set in their ways. They don't want to give up what they have to move into the future. So typically the way that it's done, the way everybody walks away smiling, is they do wars where they destroy everything. And then you have to go in and rebuild it all back up again. And so that's typically the way.
After you hide the evidence, of course, or blow the evidence up of crimes and so on.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're going to try to move into the future without totally destroying everything, you have to have some way of doing that. And so that's where we are. We're at that place where we have to figure out how to get to the future without destroying everything. And it looks like there has to be some, from what I'm seeing, it looks like there apparently has to be some level of destruction to go on before we can come out of the ashes or whatever.
Yeah, it's the Phoenix Rising kind of issue, and same with it kind of links to that rising sun. Because they believe in burning it down, exactly like you said, the Zionists and all those groups in the background are exactly right. And that's another reason they believe in war as the answer to advance. They claim that it advances the race. And ultimately, it's really just a way for them to make money and keep themselves in power.
Yeah, I mean, you look at World War II, after World War II, I mean, America became the world reserve currency, and America was the best country in the world. But, if you really look at it from a centrist kind of viewpoint, realistically, there was no industrial capacity in the rest of the world because it was destroyed. The only place that wasn't the only place that wasn't destroyed was old America, man. And we were cranking out products left and right. We were building stuff. We were making money. Federal Reserve notes in our hands. I mean, it was a crazy, crazy scene, and everybody got this idea that America's number one. And I just want to point out, number one, because America was not destroyed during World War II.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I threw you off. Did I throw you off on the video again? Did we finish Bill Binney?
No, we didn't. We're pretty much done. He doesn't really go into much else. He's talking about getting arrested and all this, and But you can find, ladies and gentlemen, just type in his name on YouTube and go take a look. There's good 2-hour presentations, and he really drills down on some of the facts. And it's an interesting conversation, especially in light of what's going on now.
Yeah, he lost his isn't he an invalid now because of
he's in a wheelchair, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But but go any direction you want. I mean, finish up anything. I know I kind of interrupt once in a while, and
no.
Might even get on a grant. But
well, we can go anywhere. I mean, seriously, it's just there's so much interesting things to talk about. I wish we could be talking about the future without having to worry about where we are in the present. And that's the hardest thing, is to be here now. Like I was going to say earlier, I live up in the mountains, in the Santa Cruz Mountains in California, Northern California. So it's pretty cold for me out here. It's about 30 degrees out here in the studio. But as long as I don't turn on my computer and I just look outside, there's nothing going on out there, man. Okay, it's peaceful. And so the thing is
sounds nice, sounds good. I love it out there. I love it up there, man. When I used to travel there a lot, and may never see it again, but yeah, it's good to hear. And I heard you talking on the show last night. You brought up the redwood forest, or you were in some canopy somewhere, maybe not America, but talking about the giant ferns and all that kind of stuff as well. So I know you're into nature, stuff like that.
So I mean, up here, like I say, there's nothing going on, and the only way that this stuff comes to me, the only way the bad food comes to my table, is when I open this window into this virtual reality, man. The software, it's like human beings 2.0. Don't wait around for this insertion of some device, ladies and gentlemen. There's the insertion of a device is completely and totally unnecessary, because we're running off software.
Right. We're already, the software. We're already a biological computer that they couldn't figure out for God knows how long. And basically, when it comes to the concept of the soul, that's indivisible. That's automatically infinite in itself, one way or another, somehow. However, the bridge goes from a limited human body to, see, our mind defines what is and isn't anyway. We give definition to what numbers are. We kind of, well, that's a long story. We're getting too close. I can't get into that philosophy, but we're an infinite being ultimately, somehow, whether it's because of being outside of the body, or the brain is much more powerful, however you want to look at it. The two are linked. So if the soul has an infinite computer, the brain is linked to the soul. And if the brain is much more powerful than we think it is, and the soul is weak, well, we got an awesome brain. Either way, you don't need to freaking get your head wired up, folks. And please take it from there, Jimmy.
Yeah, so the thing about it is, I don't know if you've ever read the Gateway document. It's a declassified scenario that was set up by the CIA. It's called the Gateway document. And so in that document, it talks quite a bit about consciousness, and it says that there's an absolute that runs through everything. The absolute creates the consciousness, and the consciousness creates the mind. It's an interesting thing. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend checking it out. You can just search it up. It's in the CIA.gov library or whatever. But anyway, the point is that one of the things that it talks about is the human being, and how the human the brain will tune itself to the highest signal that's being provided, that's coming. So normally our body is an antenna, our spine is an antenna, and we're...
right. Yeah, you were talking about this lately too, right? Excellent points, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And so, people don't understand that, with your feet on the ground without rubber shoes and your spine and your frequency, you're putting out energy from yourself, and your frequency is your own. It's unique to each of us. So we're technically we're nodes on this network that's on the earth, and so what we do with technology today with the cell phones, we're able to do without the cell phone, except we've lost the whatever link there was for us to be able to click into that mode. But anyway, I wanted to get back to this gateway document because it's really important to understand that if the human brain can be sent into a beta state by a signal, that your emotional condition at any given time could be literally dictated by the frequencies being, ubiquitously provided to you from every single device. I mean, recently, I don't know if you've experienced this, and one of the listeners was in the chat earlier. Boy Solomon was curious about this, so I was hoping you wouldn't mind I'd bring this up. Recently, it was an interesting thing that happened. There was an internet problem at my house, and so I had to call up the provider, and the provider said, "Oh, because you got this high-speed connection now, your old modem won't accept my my script. You have to come down and get a new modem." So it happened exactly to my co-host in Hawaii the exact same day. Got told the exact same thing by his provider. So I tell the lady on the phone, I said, "Listen, I'll have one of your modems, but I don't want your wireless here. I don't want to use your your wireless. I have my own router. I don't want to use you." She goes, "Oh, don't worry. Don't you worry, Jimmy, because we can turn that off from a software switch."
Yeah, right.
Okay, check this out, right? So now so I go down there, I get their modem, I come back, and I want to point out to everybody that all these cable networks, these cable carriers, they're all coming out with their own cell phones, and they're going to run over voice over IP through the internet 5G 5 gigahertz shit that they're putting in. So everybody they had holes, this is my assertion, they had holes in their network. Everybody who had the kind of modem that I had that didn't have a wireless attachment to it, so they couldn't use my router for their signal. They need a little cell site in my house with their signal they can blast out through my walls to make it possible for people walking down the street to use their little handheld.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now, that's right. You just reminded me, because they want to use your equipment and your software to connect them to all their customers and get the hotspots or whatever for the ones that they want to have a hotspot.
Exactly. And so here, listen to this, man. Just listen to this. So now I get the thing, I bring it to the house, I call them up, I say, "Okay, let's turn it off." And so the lady's giving me a hard time. This was a different lady. She's giving me a hard time, but she says she'll do it. She ends up doing it. Here's the thing, though, dude. All they did was make it so I can't use it. It didn't stop blasting signal in my house. They just made it so I can't see it.
Right.
They just made it so it's not visible to me, but it's still black. So the thing is look,
so you don't have the Wi-Fi, even though the Wi-Fi signals are still, like you just said, blasting through you and your house, out your house, to and for other customers of theirs. So you're still being radiated.
Exactly. And not only that, I'm paying $15 a month for the privilege.
To get more cancer.
Well, I'm paying them to put their little device in my house to broadcast signal outside so other people can use it.
Right. See, I mean, I'm so sick of that. And we had this guy, we had cable, and they were trying to force what was it? No, it was the e-meter issue, right? We didn't, my landlord, our people didn't want the e-meters, the new e-meters on the home. We were resisting. The guy played a trick. I know we're running out of time, Jimmy. The guy played a trick on me, pretending he came to do some stuff and he was failing and needed my help. It was entirely, literally an act to get me to go outside, to be concerned, to let him in, to get him to look at stuff. And then eventually he replaced secretly the e-meter. He put an e-meter in without asking, which the company was told not to let him do. And then when he showed me, I said, wait a minute, did you just do that? He goes, yeah, I got it right here. I'll put it on the shelf for you if there's complaints, and we'll put it right back. It was a big lie, a big scam. They're all liars, folks. But Jimmy, take it away, man. We're getting close to the end of the show, folks, and hopefully you donate.
Yeah, please donate. Come on over, become a patron. We really appreciate it, and we need the help, man. Every month, the rent man comes down. He's red ass. He's got one hand out. He needs that money. So give us a hand. We're doing our part. You do your part if you can. If you can't, say a prayer. If you can't, do a share. Go to the Zazzle store if you need something in your hand. Get something in your hand. Support the station that way. Go down to Lady Horse. Drop her a mail. Send her some old school mail. You know, it's a hell of a ride here at Revolution Radio. 48 hours a day. Studio A, Studio B, the home of industrial strength information. 48 hours a day, man. You're never alone in this cold, hard world.
Yeah, just keep it on 24/7, just about. You might need a break once in a while. We understand. You got to go, listen, but come on back. Keep coming back.
So I tried to buy a modem that had voice over IP that did not have wireless, and yeah, they exist. I could not find one anywhere that could be bought or delivered to my house. All of a sudden, there's a big shortage of these kind of modems. So it's an interesting thing, and I want to say that I've had my equipment that I've had, for a long time, set up a certain way. And since this thing was in my house, and right from the very beginning, there was a whole bunch of symptoms that cropped up. And that's when it dawned on me that the 5G that people need to be talking about is the 5 gigahertz shit in their house. Because I noticed a distinct sleeping thing, and I noticed that there was a whole bunch of different things that are typical symptoms of RF problems. So ladies and gentlemen, check it out, and every once in a while it's good. Just turn it all off at night if you can. Turn it off. And just get it quiet, man, in your house. Turn it all. And you know what? One of the most dangerous wireless devices in any house is those cordless phones, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we used to use those giant cordless phones as security guards, man, when they first came out, radiating our freaking heads. And but I always say, put your cell phones in a layer of 3 cookie cans. It's the perfect time of year. Christmas, when you buy the Christmas cookies in the tins, put them in there, and that 5, what you're talking about, Jimmy, that is big time. The real 5G.
Yeah, man. So do your best to try to turn it off. And I mean, the thing is, no one's gonna, like I said, the horse is out of the barn. It's invisible. When I worked doing this stuff, you know what we called it? FM. Because I needed I needed a $60,000 piece of equipment to see it. Okay, and know how to use it. FM, effing magic. See?
Yeah, exactly.
You call me up and say, "Hey, dude, I need some signal over there." Boom, magically, all of a sudden, your tablet's working. All of a sudden, I did some stuff out in the desert at a government facility called Hodges Transportation, and they literally, this is back a while back, they were running semis at 70 miles an hour on an oval track with no drivers. a long time ago.
We know it's coming, but it's going to be for robot cars and killer robots, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. Well, hey, thanks for having me, Bill. Let me know someday if you want me to come on back. I'll be happy to come on back, man. I had a good time.
Yeah.
And I enjoy your show too. I listen every week, so keep it up, man. Keep up the good work, dude. Great show.
Yeah, hopefully it's not going to be too depressing, and I can stay focused enough. I know I drift and all that shit. I can't help it, man.
Nah, you got a great show, man. Hey, let's go out with some music, eh?
Let's do it, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. Everybody listen to Jimmy in the future as much as you can, too, man. Love your show.
Thank you, man. Then what are you guys up to? So that was Bill Grant. All right, man. Did you guys have a good time? I did. Hang on a second. Be right back. Hang on.
I look up at night, it looks like you're already gone. Yeah, when you started your dreaming this morning,
let me go grab some coffee. I'll be right back. Hey, Bella. What's going on? What's up, Zoe? What's up, Luna? What's up, Slappy? What's up, DE? What's up, AJ? I'll be right back.
When you started your dreaming this morning, well, you kicked me out my very home bed. Yeah, and when you did it, you called me another man's name.
check your cat change.
You're telling them that you need a man who you can depend. Will I be the gasoline to keep you alive?
All right. I didn't realize that was on the screen. Hopefully I didn't get busted playing a commercial. Well, how was it? Hopefully it was good. I don't even remember what we talked about, so hopefully you guys had a good time. Seemed like a good conversation, nice and lively. Good show, Slavi? Alright, cool. Bite ass. So I don't know what's going on with these guys. Let me see if anybody's even around. Let me see if Rio's around. And Epic. Rio's green. I'll call his ass. I'm gonna start prank calling people. Thanks, Zoe. I'm gonna start crank calling people on here. That's so funny. No, he's not available. I tell you what, though. You know what's funny is, do you remember the Jerky Boys? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get this. Check this out, man. You guys will laugh. I'll call Epic too. Epic's like, Epic's working on his house, man. He's beat to a pulp, I think. Hang, listen to this.
Hello?
Yeah, auto mechanic.
Yeah.
You looking for a job?
Huh?
I'm looking for a job.
Okay. You have experience?
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah. I work on race cars.
You have inspection license?
I work on race cars.
Okay. You have inspection license?
Special what?
Inspection license. You are inspection?
Oh, inspection. Sure, I have all that shit, tough guy.
Okay, talk to my boss.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I tell him everything. You have a 7-year experience.
Put your boss on. I'll talk to him.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, may I help you?
Calling about the job.
What do you mean, what about the job? Are you applying for a job?
That's right, tough guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I work on race cars.
Excuse me?
I worked on race cars for 18 years.
On race cars?
Yes.
You have New York State inspection license?
Yes, I do.
All right. Where are you working now?
Well, right now, I just had to leave an old job because of differences with my fucking boss.
Huh?
I had problems with my boss.
You got troubles with your boss?
Right.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll tell you what. You can come down and see me tomorrow.
Yeah, huh? Should I bring my fucking tools?
Excuse me?
Should I bring my toolbox?
Wait a minute. I'll tell you what. Call me tomorrow.
Call you when?
Excuse me?
Call you when?
Call me tomorrow. I don't think you can talk like that. You don't have to call me and talk to me like that.
All right, Lynn, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come down with my tools tomorrow and I start work tomorrow.
You gonna come down and start work tomorrow?
Yes or no?
No, wait a minute. I gotta hire you first, guy.
Well, I'm the best.
You're the best?
That's right.
Okay.
I'm serious.
I know.
I'll work circles around you. I'll wrap your fucking head in with a ratchet.
Huh?
You don't have anybody down there that works like me.
Oh, yeah?
That's right.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
I'll see you tomorrow with my tools, fuckface.
That shit. When I heard that first time, I laughed my ass off, man. Oh, man, these commercials, for Christ's sake. Wait do you guys, I'm going to play the car salesman, man. You guys are going to love this, man. Wait do you hear this one? This one's funny, too. Hold on. This one's funny, too. Hang on.
Hello? Yeah, where's Paul?
Who's calling?
I'm calling about the job, salesperson.
Hold on. Hello?
Yeah, Paul.
Speaking.
What do you need me to sell, babe?
Excuse me?
What do you need me to sell? I'm calling about the salesperson job.
What do I need you to sell?
Yeah, sell cars? What's the story here?
You sell cars?
You got it.
Where do you sell them?
I sell them up in Middletown, upstate New York. I had a little problem over there, though. That's something I don't want to talk about.
Middletown?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your name?
Paul. Paul Rizzo.
Paul what?
Paul Rizzo.
Rizzo?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live upstate.
Okay. That's a long haul from,
Yeah, well, you know, for some people, maybe.
Okay.
Let's talk about selling cars, Paul.
Okay.
What do you... I could sell whatever you need sold, I'll sell it. You got... Bring in a tank, I'll sell the fucking thing.
Yeah, how far away do you live, though?
About 60 miles.
60 miles?
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm there early every day.
I'm worried about mileage on a car.
Don't worry, I'll use my own car, Paul.
Okay.
I'll drive it silly. Silly.
Now, why do you want to drive 60 miles to go to work?
Hey, that's my business. You want to sell cars through me or what? See, I had problems up there in Middletown. I got to get the hell out of that area. I grabbed some guy. He's, he don't know if he wants to buy. I push his face right in the fucking hood. You know, tell you buy this fucking car, I'll break your fucking head. I had problems over there, Paul.
Well, it sounds like if you did that, you'd have problems anywhere.
You know, it's hard times. These fuckers, they gotta buy. I need dough like anyone. So what do you think? We got something going here or what?
I don't know. I don't run that kind of operation.
You see, here we're off to a bad start. You know?
But I don't run that kind of operation.
We'll see, well, I could tone it down a bit, you know, maybe choke a few people here and there, that's about it. Hey, it works. You think it's funny, it works. I sell.
Yeah, but I don't run that kind of operation.
I'm silly. I'm telling you, I'm silly.
Yeah, I don't run that kind of operation. In fact, the salesmen don't even quote prices here.
Let me try somewhere else then, okay?
All righty.
All right. See you later, Nits.
Okay.
Right.
I'll sell it. He sells shit silly.
Yeah, I'd like to straighten out this funny little drinking problem I got.
You'd like to what?
Work on this drinking problem. People tell me I got a drinking problem. I seen your ad.
Yeah, well, what do you think you have?
Personally, I like it. I don't think I have much of a problem, but if everybody's telling me there must be something wrong here.
Where do you live?
I live in Manhattan.
Well, my only and best suggestion to you would...
Yeah, well, you know, I always get complaints from the wife. You know, I'm coming around, kicking the dog upside down in the apartment, throwing shit around, busting things, you know.
Is that normal behavior for you?
I've always acted that way since I was young. I always had a bit of a temper. You know, some guy tells me in the street today I park a little too close to his car. I busted his jaw for him. I mean, I've always been high-wired like that, so I'm really not that... You know, that don't bother me, that shit. But, you know, if they say I got a drinking problem, we should check into it.
Well, you're the key to it. Why don't you go to an AA meeting?
Well, I don't think it's my drinking so much as my, you know, being high-strung. I'm liable to throw down at the drop of a hat. You know, you piss me off one way, you go the other way. I put a shoe so far up your ass, I get really pissed off fast. You know, other than the fact, too...
You're a psychiatrist.
Well, you know, other than the fact, too, I drink about a bottle and a half of Jack Daniels a day. I whack down a six-pack at night, you know, to calm my nerves.
How's this temper yours when you don't drink?
Man, the tempers... My temper's always flaring like a pack of hemorrhoids. I'm nutty. I'm a crazy kind of guy.
Yeah, I can hear that.
I'm always swinging at the fences. You know, you get in my way, I'll roll right over you. I'm sick. But you think there's a problem with the drinking, huh?
Oh, I can't answer that. Only you can answer that.
Personally, I like myself. And I'll tell you the truth, you're getting on my nerves. I don't think I need any help with anything. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Okay, see you later then.
QuadShare is a shared housing network across expensive neighborhoods. Managing physical locations can be cumbersome, but with technology, it makes it one step easier.
Sorry about that. I had to throw that in there so I didn't get the commercial in there. So what are you guys up to, man? You guys want to hang out? What time is it? 9 o'clock, midnight, over there on the east. I don't know, man. I'm tired. I'm going to go. I'm going to go eat. So I'll catch you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. So I will see you. Until then, have a great day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't need one, man. We don't need this. You guys want to hang out still? I'm burnt, man. I'm going to go, Bill. I'll be back tomorrow, though. I'll come back in the morning tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just burnt. All right. Let's listen to this again. All right, Luna, it's good to see you, too. I'm so glad you're here. And Zoe and Bella and Slappy and Lolly and AJ and Robin and Peppy. You guys are great.